sad we can't see you in person, but we get to do CG Kids online!
You've reached the voicemail of Big Hero Employment Agency. This isn't an actual recording, but every time I answer the phone, the person seems to hang up. So I'm just going to pretend that this is a voicemail. And if you are still on the line, please leave a message after the beep. Beep! Nothing. People are so rude.
Gladys, who do we have today?
This is Amber.
Nice to meet you. Pleasure. So, are you looking to do a job, or are you looking here to find someone to do a job?
I need a job.
Are you sure?
No, I want to hire someone.
Okay, well, what do you need?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
My house is a mess.
Well, then you clearly need someone to clean it.
Yes, I can do that, but I've plenty of time, so I can just clean my house by myself. And hiring someone to do that seems like such a hassle.
Okay, so you don't need someone to hire.
No, not for that. But you know what? The grass in my backyard grows so fast. It really needs to be mowed every day. So maybe someone can do that if I hire them.
Okay, so you're sure you're not going to decide suddenly that you can do it all by yourself?
Absolutely not. I hate yard work.
Well, in that case, we have plenty of professional gardeners in our company.
You know what? I hate yard work so much. I think I'm just going to let my whole backyard be paved over. And maybe put a basketball court there as well.
Well, you're certainly not going to need a gardener for that thing.
You know, the more I think about it, the more I realize I'm here looking for a job.
Really? Well, what do you do?
Obviously, I don't do gardening or housekeeping.
Absolutely not.
I can play the piano, but I only do that for fun. I like to cut people's hair, although I don't have formal training, and I probably need formal training to do a job like that. I always thought it would be fun if I could do this.
Do you know what you need?
Yes, I need a job. No, wait. I need to hire someone.
You need to commit. That's what you need.
Commit?
There's a whole great big world out there with lots of opportunities, and you don't need to have it all figured out. You're missing out the enjoyment that God has to offer you, and you need to commit to something.
Yeah, no, you know, you're right.
Are you sure?
Yes, I am sure. I am committing to that answer. I need to decide what is important to me and be committed to making it happen.
Good for you, Amber.
Well done. So, which is it going to be? Are you going to commit to do a job, or are you going to commit to hire someone to do a job?
I know. I've decided I'm going to join the circus.
Okay then.
Nice lady. I think she'll do well.
You know what? You do a pretty good job at driving away all my business.
It's not always easy, but I stay committed.
Definitely committed.
Hey boys and girls, so our memory verse is in Hebrews 12 verse 1, and it reads, "A huge cloud of witnesses is all around us, so let us throw off everything that stands in our way, let us throw off all the sin that holds us so tightly, and let's keep on running the race marked out for us." Repeat after me, Hebrews 12 verse 1. A huge cloud of witnesses is all around us, so let us throw off everything that stands in our way, and let us throw off all the sin that holds us so tightly, and let's keep on running the race marked out for us. Hey boys and girls, I hope you guys are still enjoying our Bible Hero series. We all have heroes, people that we admire, look up to, want to be like. People who have done amazing things and possess amazing qualities. Those qualities are what we call virtues. For the past several weeks, we've seen those virtues at work. We've witnessed Noah's obedience and Abraham's faith. We've seen Joseph's forgiveness and Moses' humility. Today, we're going to talk about commitment. All of these heroes were given big tasks by God, and each of them fulfilled the tasks because they had commitment. It took years for Noah to build that ark, but he stayed committed. Abraham had to wait a long time for a son, but he believed God with commitment. Moses led the Israelites through the desert for 40 years. Talk about a life of commitment. When Moses died, his servant Joshua became the new leader of the Israelites. It was Joshua who finally brought the people up to the edge of the land that God had promised to give them so long ago. The people were ready to come to their new home. There was just one thing standing in their way: the city of Jericho. The city of Jericho was in the promised land, and the people there weren't about to share the land with the Israelites. Jericho was a fortified city with a strong, unpassable wall. There was no way for the Israelites to take the city of Jericho on their own. But God gave Joshua instructions on what to do. They seemed a bit odd, but as we are about to read, Joshua stayed committed to God and followed his instructions. In Joshua chapter 5 verse 13 to chapter 6 verse 20, it reads, "And then this, while Joshua was there near Jericho, he looked up and saw right in front of him a man standing, holding his drawn sword. Joshua stepped up to him and said, 'Whose side are you on, ours or our enemies?' He said, 'Neither. I am commander of God's army. I've just arrived.' Joshua fell face to the ground and worshipped. He asked, 'What orders does my master have for the servant?' God's army commander ordered Joshua, 'Take your sandals off your feet. The place you are standing is holy.' Joshua did it. Jericho was shut up tight as a drum because of the people of Israel. No one going in, no one coming out. God spoke to Joshua, 'Look sharp now. I've already given Jericho to you, along with its king and its elite forces. Here's what you are to do. March around the city, all your soldiers. Circle the city once. Repeat this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry 7 ram's horn trumpets in front of the chest. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, the priests blowing away on the trumpets, and then a long blast on the ram's horn. When you hear that, all the people are to shout at the top of their lungs. The city wall will collapse at once. All the people are to enter, every man straight on in.' So Joshua, son of Nun, called the priests and told them, 'Take up the chest of the covenant.' 7 priests are to carry 7 ram's horn trumpets leading God's chest. Then he told the people, 'Set out, march around the city. Have the armed guard march before the chest of God.' And it happened. Joshua spoke, the people moved. 7 priests with their 7 ram's horn trumpets set out before God. They blew the trumpets, leading God's chest of the covenant. The armed guard marched ahead of the trumpet, blowing priest, and the rear guard was marching after the chest, marching and blowing their trumpets. Joshua had given orders to the people, 'Don't shout. In fact, don't even speak, not so much as a whisper, until you hear me say, "Shout," then shout away.' He sent the chest of God on its way around the city. It circled once, came back to the camp, and stayed for the night. Joshua was up early the next morning, and the priests took up the chest of God. The 7 priests, carrying 7 ram's horn trumpets, marched before the chest of God, marching and blowing the trumpets, with the armed guard marching before and the rear guard marching after. Marching and blowing of trumpets. On the second day, they again circled the city once and returned to camp. They did this for 6 days. When the seventh day came, they got up early and marched around the city the same way, but 7 times. Yes, this day they circled 7 times. On the 7th time around, the priests blew their trumpets and Joshua signaled the people, "Shout, God has given you the city." The city and everything in it is under a holy curse and offered up to God. Except for Rahab the harlot, she is to live, she and everyone in her house with her, because she hid the agents we sent. As for you, watch yourselves in the city under the holy curse. Be careful that you don't covet anything in it and take something that's cursed, endangering the camp of Israel with a curse and making trouble for everyone. All silver and gold, all vessels of bronze and iron are holy to God. Put them in God's treasury. The priest blew the trumpets. When the people heard the blast of the trumpets, they gave a thundering shout. The wall fell at once. The people rushed straight into the city and took it. Just walk around the city. Don't attack. Don't engage the enemy. Just march around the city for 7 days. That was the Lord's instruction to Joshua and the Israelites. That must have seemed like a pretty strange plan to some of those people marching around the city. And I'm sure it looked odd to the people in Jericho who were looking down on the Israelites from this safe and secure city wall. Joshua could have ignored God's instructions, or he could have started out strong but then began to waver. By day 3, a less committed man might have thought to himself, "What am I doing? This isn't accomplishing anything. We should just go back to camp." But not Joshua. He stayed committed to the task that God had given him. And on that 7th day, after they had marched around the city 7 times and blown their trumpets, the walls of Jericho fell. As simple as that. The Israelites were now able to take the city easily. God did an amazing work by bringing the walls down. And God did it after Joshua demonstrated his commitment to God and the task that God had called him to. God has great plans for you, and he calls you to tasks both great and small to bring about those plans. Those tasks may not always make sense. That's why we must stay committed. God calls us to honor our parents. This can be hard because even they aren't perfect. They make mistakes sometimes, but we must stay committed to obeying God anyway. At this stage of your life, you have to spend a lot of time studying and doing homework. You might wonder sometimes, what's the point? But the truth is, all of that work is making you smarter and stronger for great things down the line into your teenage years and adulthood. You must stay committed to do the small things that you've been given today so that you are ready for the big things that God will bring your way down the line. Heroes possess commitment. Heroes like Joshua were committed to God and to the tasks that God had given him. We can be a hero like Joshua with a little commitment. Boys and girls, I ask you to please pray along with me. Dear God, you have big plans for each of us. Those plans require commitment. Help us to stay committed to you and to the tasks that you have called us to. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you for joining us online, boys and girls. Until next time, goodbye.
Let's have fun!
How to play. Answer the following questions about today's lesson. Number 1. Who did Joshua meet near Jericho? A. God. B. Commander of the Lord's army. C. General from Jericho.
B.
That is right! Number 2. What was the first thing Joshua was told to do? A. March around the city. B. Blow a trumpet. And C. Take off his sandals.
Sandals.
Yes, that is right.
Yes.
Number 3. For the first 6 days, how many times each day did the Israelites march around the city? A. 1. B. 6. C. 7.
1.
It's 1. Good job, Blake. What special thing did the Israelites have with them as they marched? A. A burning bush. B. The Ark of the Covenant. And C. Silver and gold.
B.
That is right. It's B. Number 5. What quality do we need to be a hero like Joshua? A. Smarts. B. Strength. And C. Commitment.
C.
Yes, that is right.
Hi friends, are you ready to test your superpowers? I'm sure you've heard of superheroes who have X-ray vision or can shoot lasers from their eyes. Well, we're not going to be shooting any lasers today, but we are going to test to see if you have superhero vision. I'm going to show you 3 different superheroes. You'll have 10 seconds to study them carefully. Then I'll take them away and ask you a question to see how closely you paid attention. To answer, just raise 1 finger if you think it's hero number 1, 2 fingers if you think it's hero number 2, and 3 fingers for hero number 3. All right, blink 3 times to get ready, and then we'll start. 1, 2, 3, let's go! Here are your first 3 heroes. Study each one very carefully. Have you memorized all of the details? Good, because time is up. Which hero was wearing a red cape? Remember, raise 1 finger if you think it's hero number 1, 2 fingers for hero number 2, or 3 fingers for hero number 3. All right, who's holding up 1 finger? You should be holding up 1 more because the answer is hero number 2. Well done. That was a good first try. Let's do another round. Study these 3 heroes carefully. Think you have all the details? Good, because you are out of time. Which hero was holding a sword? Let's see those fingers. 1, 2, or 3. All right, time's up. Who's holding up 3 fingers? You can start jumping up and down because you are right. Great job. Let's try another. Study these 3 heroes carefully. Have you paid attention to everything? Good, because time is up. Which hero was wearing green boots? Let's see those fingers. 1, 2, or 3. All right, time's up. Who's holding up 1 finger? You should give everyone with 2 fingers a high five because hero number 2 is the answer. You're doing great. I think we might have some people with superhero level vision here today. Let's try another. Study these 3 heroes carefully. Did you pay attention to everything? I hope so, because you're out of time. Which hero had a star on their costume? Let's see those fingers. 1, 2, or 3. All right, time's up. Who's holding up one finger? You can start doing a victory dance because you are correct. This has been so fun. Let's do one last round together. Study these 3 new heroes carefully. Do you think you have everything memorized? All right, time's up. Which hero was wearing a pink mask? Let's see those fingers. 1, 2, or 3. All right, time's up. Who's holding up 2 fingers? Great job, you're correct. Super job, everybody.